How you doing out there on Facebook Live? And thanks so much for joining us right here from the Nasdaq market site here in Times Square, New York. We're going to have a terrific conversation with a fantastic Nasdaq listed company, Oncolytics Biotech. It's dual listed on Nasdaq and the TSX with offices in Calgary, Alberta and San Diego, California. Been Nasdaq listed since June of this year. We have Dr. Matt Coffey, co-founder, president, and CEO. Matt, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I always like to start there. What can you tell us about Oncolytics?
A fantastic company. What we're trying to do is engage the immune system to target tumors. What we're trying to do is take a tumor that has been invisible, and by infecting it with a virus, making it visible to our immune system so that your natural killer cells, your T cells, your own immune system can better target it and eliminate it from the body. And what we're finding in metastatic breast cancer, we were able to extend the lifespan of these women by almost an entire year. So it's a tremendous opportunity for these women. And we think there's opportunities beyond breast into heme malignancies like multiple myeloma, colorectal cancer, and possibly anal.
You know, you're going to have to forgive the questions here because it's a Wall Street guy with an arts and letters type of background. But is this about biomarkers? Then Matt, and enlisting the body to fight it for itself?
What we've done is we have a virus that preferentially, it'll only actually infect cancer cells. And we've put it through the clinic. We've seen an extension of life in breast cancer. But recently, and we'll be presenting actually at the end of this month, we've identified an immune marker that allows us to tell whether or not the patient is responding or not responding to treatment. So what we can do is treat them for a very short period of time and identify those people who have engaged their immune system to eliminate the tumor versus those who are unable to. In some instances, these patients are very late stage. They really don't have much immune measures left. So what we'll be talking later this month is we're able to identify these patients, which allows us to enrich our studies for them. So we can eliminate the patients who aren't responding and add the patients who are, which will shorten our development timelines. It'll make our studies more efficient, smaller, and quicker. So it's a tremendous time for the organization. And what we announced today, we're working with a cooperative group in Spain. The group is called SOLTI. And 36 women with breast cancer who are operable will be provided the virus along with Roche's Tecentriq, which is an immune checkpoint inhibitor which works in concert with the virus.
Right.
And at which point they'll be treated. 3 weeks later, they'll go for definitive surgery, and we can identify or we can validate the biomarker that we've identified, and we'll be talking about later. And this is really the last step for us to move into a registration study in metastatic breast cancer. So the clock is ticking now. We're in the final stages of its development.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
So you received some approval from the government of Spain?
We did. It was, these are long drawn out processes, but we've been working with a very good cooperative group and some very good investigators who helped us through this process, and we'll begin treating patients next month.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A great milestone in
Thank
development. Then what do you see in terms of looking forward, call it 12 or 18 months in terms of the company and what the investors then could also understand?
It's a really exciting time for us because I don't see a lot of downside risk in the near term because the studies have just really begun. We're working in multiple myeloma in conjunction with Keytruda, which is Merck's checkpoint inhibitor. We're also working in multiple myeloma with Opdivo, which is Bristol Myers Squibb checkpoint inhibitor. We previously announced that we had a supply agreement with Roche, and that's who's actually providing the Tecentriq to the breast cancer program. So all these studies now are underway. They're open label studies, and what we hope to be able to see, checkpoint inhibition is...
I was just about to ask that.
It's engaging your immune system to recognize tumors, and through a receptor called PD-L1, which is a checkpoint inhibitor. It's wonderful for about 20% of the patients, and what we get is extension of lives, very good response rates, but unfortunately, 80% of the patients won't respond to this intervention. What we're hoping is to take that 20% and make it 40, 50, 60. And the scope of checkpoint inhibition, immuno-oncology is the fastest growing segment of oncology today. And it's just engaging your immune system to target tumors, and it's worth about $100 billion, is what they're estimating in 2020. What we're hoping is to double or triple the number of responders by promoting an inflamed phenotype. You can imagine a viral infection is a very good way of relocating your immune system to an infected tissue, but here the infected tissue is a tumor. So what we can do is redirect your immune system to specifically recognize the tumor and eliminate it from the body through this viral infection process, and in concert with checkpoint inhibition. So we're anticipating it to be well tolerated and hopefully very efficacious.
True innovation in saving lives.
It really is an exciting time.
When you think about your peer companies, what differentiates Oncolytics?
There's
from
two
them?
things really. When people think viruses, they're thinking gene therapy. And gene therapy is you're taking an existing virus and you're adding a human gene to it to stimulate the immune system, what have you. Here what we're looking at is an RNA, double-stranded RNA virus, which is naturally occurring. So think of it more as a vaccine.
RNA ribonucleic
Yes.
acid. Okay.
Exactly.
Terrific.
But we're able to deliver it systemically. A lot of our peers are doing intratumoral injections, so a direct administration into a tumor, something superficial like multiple or like melanoma, or in some instances brain tumors or prostate have been looked at with intratumoral injection. Here it's a 1 hour IV infusion. So we put it into a vein in the arm. It's a 250 ml saline bag, and so the patient is basically perfused with virus, and what we get is selective replication of the virus in the tumor mass.
Wow.
Now, because the virus is an RNA virus, it's very good at stimulating the immune system. Double-stranded RNA is a very large immunological danger signal, if you will.
Right.
So those infected tissues will signal to your immune system that they are infected and will relocate all of those immune cells to the tumor. And as they say in the parlance, it turns a cold tumor hot.
Amazing.
It's exciting.
Well, you've got a lot of exciting things going on. Let's see, you've got headquarters in Calgary, Alberta, and San Diego.
And San Diego,
So I'm sure you get around quite a bit.
I am living on an airplane these days, and I'm actually in New York for the Bio CEO conference. So
That's what brought you here, the airplane.
we're talking to investors. We're talking with you. It's always nice to be in New York, and it's minus 35 in Calgary, so it's quite nice to be here now.
Temperate. Good
Yes,
to know.
exactly.
Well, when we think about starting a company, so you and I were talking before we came on the camera about you were studying in university and the company grew out of that. A lot of our viewers are sitting in dorm rooms, labs, incubators, even at the cafeteria table. When you're thinking about starting something new, could even be another Nasdaq listed company. What would your advice be for them, man?
I would say just go for it. You can be, well, they say paralysis by analysis. I think if we think
Right.
about the risks of these things too much, we will miss the opportunity. So I think if you have this idea, if you have a way of benefiting anyone, really, if it's biomedical, if it's computing, just take that first step. Just go out, talk to the investors or the potential investors, and do it fearlessly. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen on its own.
Be fearless.
Be fearless.
Well, thank you for being fearless because you brought yourselves to Nasdaq. We have a great innovative company, which we love having.
Well, thank you.
So thanks very much for coming today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
And thank you very much for joining us out there.